why we love having Billy on the radio. Chews up a lot of time.
I don't even think we need an intro. We're having some conversations here, Alyssa Lang. But can I give you some props? Sports Center, all the good stuff.
That's very kind. Thank you.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you. It's been a ton of fun. Always cool to have opportunities, but when it's Sports Center, it feels a little bit different to be able to do something like that. So it's been awesome.
Can I ask you about that? So
yeah.
I didn't get picked. Years ago, I did an audition in Bristol, right?
Okay.
And they did the whole prompter died, breaking news thing.
Man.
I did it with Max Britos, who's not there anymore. It was a thrill. Did they do anything like that for you?
So it's funny because I actually asked somebody, do you think they'll do that to me on my first one? Do you think that they'll pull the prompter? Do you think that they'll mess something up? And they said, no, I don't think that they're going to do that, but be prepared for them to throw things at you that aren't necessarily in your wheelhouse. So I will say the very first Sports Center I did went pretty smoothly. We were actually coming off of, I think it was an LSU Texas A&M baseball game, which thank God, because then I could kind of talk my way through it because that is my wheelhouse. But then the next night, we were following an NBA playoff and an NHL playoff game. And they were throwing highlights at me like live in the show. Hey, we're handing it to you. We're coming to you in 60 seconds. And I don't watch a ton of NHL. Just the nature of our schedule throughout the college sports season doesn't leave a lot of time for hockey. I'll watch it when we get to the Stanley Cup Finals. But they didn't ever try to like pull the fire alarm. But it was a lot of live bullets, if you will.
Yeah.
But I think I handled it okay.
Heck yeah.
I think it went all right.
You've done great.
Thank you.
My favorite thing with Alyssa is when I know that SEC baseball, like an A&M game's running way late, and I'll message her on Instagram like, hey, we still got at least another hour, knowing that her night is just going later and later.
I don't miss that life at all.
Yeah, that's, it's fun because usually it ends with some drama when we have a game like that. But I have left our SEC Network studios in Charlotte at 2, 3 in the morning on a Friday because of A&M or LSU or whoever else it is. But hey, college baseball season is one of the best times of year.
It's so cool to see what you're doing, and I was actually talking about it a couple weeks ago with Kaylee Hartung.
Yeah.
It's kind of her journey,
best.
right? And she's but I feel like you won't say this, but like you're on that kind of path and trajectory. Couldn't happen to a better person. But we're going to give you a hard time.
I need to come here more often because you guys are hyping me up.
Wait, I'm not done. But knowing how you guys at SEC Network is such a family and you guys are so much, so has the coolness of that achievement outweighed the grief and the hell you're catching from the crew?
Oh, man. Being part, to your point, of the SEC Network family is amazing. Being part of the SEC family is amazing. I don't think it'll ever wear off, the grief, the cool stuff. Like, none of that will ever change. I've always said that if it ever feels like I'm not excited or I'm bored to be doing something, especially in this league, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. You probably shouldn't be in that seat. I always rely on my SEC folks to keep me humble. If I'm ever, not being, Chris Doring and Peter Burns, I'll make sure that, they keep me knocked down a few pegs if I have to, but everybody's so supportive and it really is such a family. So it's really cool.
I wanted to we're going to ask you a football question, but beforehand, you covered the World Series. That's still fresh in so many Aggies' minds. And just from an outside perspective, what'd you think of really that last series between Tennessee and A&M?
It was just awesome. From start to finish, the way that A&M still made it to the Champ Series despite being beat the heck up. I mean, crawling to the finish line, and it was dang close. I mean, they were so close, and it breaks my heart. In this position, you're kind of pulling for everybody. You get to know the team so well, and it really does change your fandom. So you're happy no matter who wins, whether it's Tennessee or Texas A&M. There was a little extra layer, though, of knowing what this team had been through, knowing the injuries that they had battled through, losing a guy like Braden Montgomery, and then not being able to get there, really, even as an outsider, stings just a little bit more. But as I told you when we were leaving Omaha, they're going to be back, and they're going to be back sooner rather than later. And I 100% believe that the makeup of the guys on that team will not let the alternative happen. They're going to be back in Omaha very soon.
So follow up to that, from baseball to football.
Yeah.
All right, you have the Schloss, drama.
Yeah.
Which adds to the storylines with A&M football versus Texas, right? Like, isn't that crazy how that baseball moment is going to add to that evening?
Yeah, and everything will between Texas A&M and Texas, right? Like, it doesn't matter what sport it is. You're going to use every last moment as motivation when it comes to your rival. I cannot wait for that game this year. I'm already reading Aggie fan tweets, Longhorn fan tweets, just about all the smack talking that they're doing, and it's not even August yet. I can't imagine what the players are going to be doing on the field and some of the things that are thrown across social media that week. Hopefully all good and mostly entertaining, but it's a rivalry like no other, and I hope and I pray that I will get to experience it in person at some point while they're here in the SEC.
You might.
Hopefully.
Hey, last question.
I need a promotion to do that.
Last one from me, baseball. I want to go back to it.
Yeah.
Paul Mainieri. So, as a South Carolina alum, a proud Gamecock, how do you feel about that? It feels like a pretty big-time, unexpected hire.
It was unexpected is definitely the word, right? Mm-hmm. And I will be honest, when I first heard the news, I was surprised. Mm-hmm. And I sat there and I went, man, he retired for a reason, right? He's not on the younger side, and he's admitted that. He's not shying away from that. As I listened to him speak, and as I've talked to more folks around the program, I've only gotten more and more excited for the Paul Mainieri era to begin. Not only because of what he brings just as a storied resume, but the assistants that he's put around him. Retaining Monty Lee was a huge part of that. I thought that maybe Monty might end up being the head coach, but for Paul Mainieri to really put his stamp on him being there for a very long time for the future, I think was huge. I'm excited. I mean, that's a big-time name going to Columbia, and that's a big-time program.
It is. A program like that needed, I think, a big-time name to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alyssa, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Alyssa. Do you want the rest of your cookie or no?
Can I have the chocolate milk?
Yes, you can take either or.
Wow.
Yes. There's a ton of it over there.
He'll get more.